All right, so it's Bueller and Dodge bringing you, once again, a very special surprise coming up at UFC Fight Night 83. We do have Ashlee Evans Smith going up against Marion Renault, and on the phone we have Ashlee Evans Smith. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, we know that you're busy getting ready for your fight this weekend, and this is not your UFC debut. You actually fought UFC 181, which was Hendricks versus Lawler, and it was a loss to Raquel Pennington, but that was a fight you took on short notice. So is this one going to be a lot different because you had a full camp?
Yeah, I don't regret taking that fight on short notice. It was an amazing opportunity. I was actually signed with World Series of Fighting at the time, and they released me to take the short notice fight. And unfortunately, I didn't win, but it was just amazing to be considered with only 3 pro fights at that time. And so, a lot has changed since then. Obviously, I had a 6-week camp as opposed to a 3-week camp, much closer to weight, more time to study for my opponent. And then it's been almost a year since I've fought Raquel, and you grow in between fights all the time. So sometimes you take fights a couple months in between each other or from each other, and this has been a year. So I've grown enormously since the last fight.
Not only that, but in that fight, you gave her a pretty nasty cut that could have been stopped. Do you think it should have been stopped at that time?
It's actually kind of crazy. Someone behind the scenes actually told me that if it would have went to the second round, they were going to stop it, which, it's kind of like bittersweet, like, oh, great. But it's nice to know that was the damage that I had done.
Also, I hate to bring up sore things here, but you took that fight on 2 weeks' notice, and you did test for diuretics afterwards, and it wasn't really addressed by your camp. Can we ask, was that because of the weight cut, short notice?
What do you mean it wasn't addressed by my camp?
It wasn't directly attributed to anything. Can we assume that it might have been attributed to short notice?
It was everyone probably got their icks or whatever, but, the reason that, we were so shocked was because it was a miscommunication with my nutritionist at the time who gave me something to, quote unquote, promote water loss. And then I learned a lesson.
Okay.
I learned a lesson thereafter about educating myself about what I take and put into my body. So when I got that phone call saying, like, oh, you tested positive for this banned substance, I thought, they were joking around with me because, to my knowledge, there was nothing that I put in my body that was illegal.
Yeah,
it was a lesson learned,
Not only that, but it's right at the time when, John Jones got busted for cocaine. So it's not like you were getting busted for cocaine.
Yeah, but the crappy part is that there's a lot of people out there that, as far as illegal substances go, they just see the one color, they don't see, cocaine at one end of the spectrum and, like, diuretics at the other. It's just like, oh, you are, you're a cheater. I'm like, great.
Right.
And that's unfortunate.
Cocaine and weed and everything got chunked together.
Yeah, with people who are actually that pay attention to the sport and stuff, we know that the rules are changing all the time, and we know how easy it is to take something that may have a minor amount of something that all of a sudden just got banned a week and a half ago and nobody even knows it. So, it's no slight against you. Like, we were just asking, because we were curious. So moving on from that, though, you're also the first person to ever beat Fallon Fox. How did that feel when it happened?
Yeah, that was a really amazing opportunity for me because, I really felt like at the time it was me and only me that believed I was going to win. My coaches and my teammates, knew that I was going to win as well. But it felt like me against the world in that sense. It was like everyone kind of felt bad for me. Like, oh, this poor girl is just going to go in there and get beat up by this person, So when I did win, it was nice to, kind of prove everyone wrong, take the money, take the belt, and then just kind of like start my pro career off like that because that was still only my second pro fight. So it was an amazing feeling on a lot of different levels.
And people I know on Twitter just went crazy. Like, you became their favorite female fighter, like, instantly.
Yeah, I definitely proved that I was here to stay and, that I'm gonna do big things in this sport.
So do you enjoy training in California? Do you see yourself maybe moving anywhere else in the future?
Not anytime soon, It's kind of like that quote, like, why fix something that's not broke? I've had a lot of success with my camps, and, this fight is a little bit different, actually. I didn't take anything away, but I added a new striking coach, and I added, some more jiu-jitsu, another jiu-jitsu coach, another jiu-jitsu gym. So I just built, from what I've already had into Team Ashlee, I guess you would say. And, in addition to having a great team and coaches, the weather's beautiful, why move?
West Coast is the best coast.
West Coast is the best coast. This is true. So I know we caught you during a run, and you had an iPod Nano. Did it get stolen or did it just die on you?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure it got stolen, which really sucks because it was at one of my, it was at like a strength and conditioning gym, and, you know, it would never have gotten stolen at my MMA gym, you know?
Right.
You have, like, too much respect, but I think some crappy person just stole it.
Well, it got replaced, and we got to ask, why a Nano? Of all the iPods that are out there, why a Nano? Is it just like, does it have sentimental value to you?
No, just because it's nice and small, and I just like stick it into my sports bra when I run, and just not having to hold it. And you know, it's got a little screen so I can choose what music I want. You know, they have like the little shuffle one where you don't know what you're listening to, but you know, sometimes you're picky. Sometimes you want to pick up the pace, and you want a fast-paced song, and sometimes you just want to chill. You know.
Do the Nanos have a touch screen?
Yeah. Oh, it's not touch, but it's like.
No, we'll
I
talk.
don't need to be fancy. What?
We'll talk to Dootsy about that. If he got you the wrong one.
No, it's awesome. It's perfect. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome.
For sure. What color did we get you?
Yeah, you got me black because that's what I wanted.
Perfect. I didn't know if we got you red, hot pink, lime green. I have no clue.
Apparently, we didn't get it to one of the screens, so we're in trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm not involved in any of the decision making at all when it comes to this kind of stuff. So the fight's going down. It is UFC Fight Night 83. It's happening in Pittsburgh. And you're facing Ashlee Evans Smith. You are facing Marion Renault, who is 6-2. You're 3-1. So you got half the fights that she does. You feeling confident going into this one?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what her amateur record is, and I know there's a big difference between amateur and pro, but I've had 9 amateur fights, so this will be my 14th cage fight, you know, and I still believe that you get, like, all the same feelings, you know, if you really take it seriously and you train your butt off from day one, which I have. You know, I've taken my career super professional, even at the amateur level. So in my mind, I don't have 4 pro fights. I've got, you know, this will be 14 for me, and plus all the years of competition on the wrestling, you know, high school and college and internationally. So I don't feel like she has a leg up on me in that aspect. And, you know, like I told you before, it's been a year since I fought. Like, I'm so hungry, like literally and physically, you know, literally and figuratively.
You are
really
cutting
hungry.
I just want a pizza.
You know, I feel like I've got more to prove, you know, like I'm coming off this loss and suspension, you know, I got all the naysayers, you know. This chick's already done some cool stuff, like good for her, you know, but like I'm here to make a comeback, you know, and everyone knows when you're making a comeback, you know, you don't come back with like a decision. You come back and you take someone's head off, you know. So I'm confident.
You listen to a lot of punk rock. Are you listening to LL Cool J now?
Yeah. Mama said knock you out.
Don't call it a comeback.
I mean, I'd listen to it to get you pumped up, but I'm gonna stay with the punk rock for now.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like somebody who's very confident. You're not saying that you have 4 fights. You're saying you have 14 fights. You don't have to worry about this being your UFC debut because you've already debuted in the UFC. You don't sound like somebody who has any jitters, and that's a very strong thing coming into the cage this upcoming weekend. So we have a question that we ask all the fighters that we get to interview, and it's a who would win in a fight question. Dodge has it. He'll go ahead and ask you. All
right, so who's going to win in a fight? A bear with machine guns for paws or a pterodactyl that poops chainsaws?
A pterodactyl that poops what?
Chainsaws.
Oh, my God.
This is a serious question.
Seriously.
The pterodactyl, he's got the aerial advantage for sure, you know?
So, Ashlee...
And the bear's bigger. He's not going to be as agile. Yeah,
But his bullets are agile.
His bullets are agile. But the pterodactyl has armor.
True.
What?
And the pterodactyl just seems, so much more aerodynamic and fast, you know? Yeah, no. Pterodactyl. Go with pterodactyl.
All right, Ashlee Evans Smith is Team Pterodactyl. We keep track of this, too. We actually have a tally board as to who's on what team. Hey, we appreciate it. And, of course, best of luck to you this weekend. Again, February 21st. It's going down in Pittsburgh. Ashlee Evans Smith up against Marion Renault at UFC Fight Night 83. Who's headlining that one, by the way?
That is Cowboy versus Cowboy.
Cowboy versus Cowboy.
Yeah.
Donald Cerrone and Alex Oliveira.
Going to be a great fight card. Once again, we thank you for being on the show, Ashlee.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for my friggin' awesome iPod. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate it.
We had to bribe you.